Hi, I'm Samuel Hahn with Spotlight Forney. Welcome to a first-of-its-kind video forum for candidates for Forney Mayor and City Council. The candidates are on the ballot in the election to be held on May 1st, 2021. In the next 40 minutes, you will hear the candidates. After they introduce themselves, each answer the same questions, all submitted by you, the public. Their answers are impromptu and unrehearsed. They did not see the questions beforehand, and their staff and supporters were not allowed in the taping room. All candidates on the ballot for mayor and city council were invited to participate. The only ones not appearing in this video are those who declined our invitation. And now, here are the candidates for Forney Mayor and City Council in their own words.
Hello everybody, my name is Mary Penn. I am the current mayor of Forney. To tell you a little bit about myself, I've been married to John Penn for a long time. We have 5 kids and several grandkids. I'll always know how long I've lived in Forney because I moved here and my daughter Lindsay was born 5 days later and she turned 38 years old in December. So I didn't grow up here, but my kids and my grandkids did. I love this community and I've lived here for a long time. I am a financial planner. I've worked with school districts for many years, and I'm also an artist. I started this journey on the city council when I lost my son. I realized that we're on this earth for 2 reasons. I saw life in a whole different set of glasses, in that we're here to glorify the Lord in all we do and to be of service to others. And I thought, what am I going to do? I love Forney. I'm going to get on the city council. Little did I know at the time what I was getting involved in. All I wanted to do was serve my community, and I've had to learn to be a politician, to be a public servant, so to speak. But as I grew in the position, I grew into a leadership position, and this is where I landed as far as what's going on with me now. I like to play softball. I'm connected with the community, with my grandkids, and the different things that are going on. I'm an artist, and I like to hang out with everybody. I'm friends with everybody. I listen to the people and what they have to say.
Hi, my name is Sandi with an eye Primous, the eyes for inspiration. And I am new to Forney, but it's okay because Forney has been a place I've been looking at for the last 3 years, but unfortunately I wasn't able to move here as soon as I wanted to because a little tragedy hit my family. But now that I'm here, I love this place. I am a single parent of 3 adult children, one who is an educator here in Forney, and his wife, my daughter-in-love, is an educator at Mesquite ISD. And I have another son who is currently in graduate school in University of North Texas, who is pursuing a doctorate degree for clinical neuropsychology. And I have a daughter who still lives in Killeen, where I moved from, and she is working as a correctional officer at the prison in Gatesville. And I have the love of my life, who is my granddaughter, and she goes to Cadence Academy here in Forney. I'm a 20-year combat veteran. I have deployed several times, including to Iraq and Haiti and Kosovo, and the list goes on and on. I came in the Army when I was 17, and now I'm here. I have 2 master's degrees, one's in counseling, one's in social work. I know people, love people, and I'm here to serve the community of Forney.
Hi, my name is Andrea Cannon. I have lived here in Forney for 15 years now. And I really have no earthly idea what else to say.
You can talk about yourself, your family.
I am a teacher. I am married with an amazing stepdaughter who is 9. And I have too many pets. And I'm a teacher. I teach high school, and I've been teaching for 13 years.
Excellent.
16 years.
Hi, I'm Amanda Lewis. I've lived in Forney for about 18 years. I come from a corporate and business background. I have a degree in finance and a master's degree in healthcare administration. I have worked at Parkland and the Dallas County Budget Office. I was there for over 10 years, and I actually ran a multi-million-dollar budget and staff under the hospital district tax rate, so there were limitations, but I ran a staff that was very efficient, and we reorganized over the years to meet the needs of all of the constituents in Dallas County Hospital District. I moved to Forney in 2012, and I have been here doing nonprofit community service for many years. I've worked at the Genesis Center in Kaufman County it's a battered women's shelter. I worked for Forney Community Ministries, which is a give back program that works with the school district. And I'm part of Sharing the Love Foundation, which is a nonprofit for youth. I also am on the EDC board. I'm the secretary on the EDC board for the city of Forney for the last 4 years.
What actions or inactions led to your decision to run for the position of mayor?
Why I wanted to become mayor and why I wanted to continue being mayor. I wanted to become mayor because at the time I felt like the mayor was not doing a good job, that he wasn't being effective, and I felt as though I could be a better leader. And the reason that I wanted to continue being mayor is because I feel as though I have the experience and the qualifications to continue moving the city forward in a positive manner. Since I've been mayor, we have had challenges that no other mayors have ever had to see, such as the pandemic, the George Floyd protest, the Snowvid, and police chief being fired. And I think there's a lot of requirements of swift action of things that need to be done. And I feel like I'm the person that can get those done, and that I've done a good job on the things so far.
The actions that led me in government that led me to run for mayor are very simple. There's so much that's going on within our government that have me thinking, like, wow, what can I do? Why me? Why now? Right now, the things that are going on within our local community have really stunned me. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how to answer it, but I know that right now, because I have the time as a retiree to look into what's going on within our future, within Forney, it gives me the opportunity to make a difference. I'm not talking about making history. I'm talking about making a difference in our local community.
Currently, I am not happy with the way I'm seeing some of the growth and the ability for Forney to keep money in our community. We seem to have a lot of businesses coming in that will encourage money to leave our community.
As I mentioned earlier, I've been on the EDC board for the last 4 years, so I have had a lot of interaction with city employees, and I've visited with many of them, former city employees and current city employees. The morale at City Hall is deplorable, in my opinion. It's sad, and instead of being a keyboard warrior and complaining through Facebook, I decided to step in and make a difference. I want to be on city council because I think there needs to be a direction in the leadership that's lacking. I also think that the citizens are not being represented properly. I think there's some special interests that are taking a hold of some of the decisions that need to be objective decisions. Therefore, I decided to run for mayor so I can help lead in a proper way with my business background.
What personal or professional experiences or skill sets do you have that makes you the best candidate for Forney's mayor right now?
The personal or professional skill sets that I have that I think would make me the best mayor is, number one, I have the experience. Number two, I know the political background that I'm dealing with, and although that shouldn't be something that should be a requirement as far as the city of Forney goes, it is. And that's what we have to deal with, and because of that, I feel like that's one of the things that makes me the best candidate. Another thing that I think makes me a great candidate for this position is that I have had transparency, I'm open with the community, I have an open door policy, and even with as much that's been going on recently in the city, if anything has slipped through the cracks, it has been very few things, because I have been fielding and responding to everybody that has been opening up about everything that's going on. There are a lot of people that are angry, that are in shock, that are hurting about the situations that have been happening, and I feel as though I've been fielding them and giving them hope for a positive future.
Well, personally, I have 2 master's degrees. One's in counseling and one's in social work. So there you go. I know people. I've been with people. I've worked in family advocacy, drug and alcohol. I've worked with active duty soldiers, with family members, with people who have drugism, alcoholism, PTSD, anything in the mental health field. I've worked with every type of person from every field in every situation that you can think of. That's why. Professionally, I'm a soldier. I bleed red, white, and blue every day, without a doubt. I am here as a professional. I don't take sides. I don't do anything unless it's for the betterment of the people. That's what I learned in the military. Selfless service, personal courage. Those are my professional skill sets that I can offer Forney. And my values are family, faith, and fun. Faith is number 1, family second, fun is third, in that order.
I tend to be a very creative thinker and problem solver, and I think that's a couple of characteristics that I've seen missing in our current government.
I have both personal and professional skill sets. Let me talk first about the professional. As I mentioned, I have a business background. I do not have a political background. I have a corporate structure mentality in the way that business is run. There needs to be efficiencies in funding. I think having a professional background in corporate business is probably one of the biggest assets. I do not have a political background. I have a finance background. I know numbers. I know how to work numbers. I also know how to manage staff. I had a staff at Parkland that respected me, and I was there for quite a while. Different backgrounds, different ethnicities. It takes a group to really move the ship forward, and it takes the respect of your staff in order to get your actions implemented. Personally, I have done a lot of community service. I am in touch with the people of Forney. We're talking about the seniors that sometimes are not heard. We're talking about youth that seems to be overlooked. I think that there's a balance between having a professional and a personal skill set to really understand the needs of the citizens and then to represent them properly.
What specific plans or strategies do you have to bridge the divide between the city and stakeholders, such as police, fire, economic development, and Forney ISD?
Okay, the specific plans that I have for uniting the city and the police and fire department and the EDC and the school district together, first of all, is communication. We are lacking in that with our city manager, and I have been very bold about stating that his skills in this department are not what they need to be. I have supported our police and fire department. I have had conversations with our EDC and with the school district, and there's definitely an issue there. The issue is communication, and my solution to the whole problem is getting rid of the city manager, because as I go forward, I continue to have the communication that there needs to be. But as city manager, we need an EDC director. Our EDC director is gone. And the city manager has stepped into that position. He's not qualified to do that, and as far as I'm concerned, he's not qualified to be over our police and fire department. They've been in chaos, and they need the strong leader that they had. So my position is to get rid of the city manager. Other than that, communication is the next best thing that we have. We all need to be communicating with each other.
I'm just going to state the facts. I've heard that there are some issues or concerns. I don't know for sure, but what I can tell you is that you go back to the old school way. You talk, you use compassion, you get everybody together, you listen, you learn. There's no way a good leader can come into a new entity and just start making changes. It doesn't work that way. As a leader, you have to get those units together and you have to talk. You have to learn. You have to get the families together. That's the only way to bridge a gap in any entity. It doesn't matter if it's the military, it doesn't matter if it's the fire department, it doesn't matter. We're all people, and we all operate the same at the end of the day.
The first thing that needs to be done is we need to get a good idea of what the people in Forney want. We have so many new people coming into Forney, and I think unfortunately our current government is still working on the small town mentality, whereas we need to be looking at a bigger picture, and the only way to do that is to talk to our stakeholders.
Wow, this is a loaded question. I might take up my whole time on this. My plans for, let's start with the first responders. My plans for fire and police. First of all, there needs to be funding that is missing. This will require a forensic audit, which I expect to hopefully implement once in office. We need to review our financials. We need to see where the funding is going. We need to understand where the district that is contributing money for the services that we have, where that money is going. Is it going to the fire? Is it going to the police? There needs to be money into the training. There also needs to be funding into, let me stop. There needs to be funding into the training. There also needs to be funding into the market structure of both of these first responder groups. There needs to be a culture shift, and that means doing a top-down management review from City Hall all the way down to those that are doing the job properly. I think a top-down management review of the people in the proper positions to see if they have the credentials for doing the jobs in which they were hired to do.
If elected, what could voters expect from you in the next year?
If I'm elected, what voters can expect out of me from the next year is, number one, I am going to be getting rid of the city manager. It's not been an easy thing to do so far, but I'm confident that we'll be able to do that. And our city needs to heal as far as that goes. But secondly, what I have in place is we have just appointed a bond committee, and this is going to be big, and this is going to be exciting for Forney. Forney has not passed a bond in 14 years, and I don't want to wait another 10 years. In some areas, we're already behind the curve. We need to get ahead of the curve on things that we could do. We're in a unique situation with our roads and highways because of state highways and county roads, but what can we do in this bond election? We'll be hiring consultants to see if we can put spine roads in to relieve traffic. We need to go to the next level with our parks. We have so many kids that are playing in sports. We've got adult sports now. There's so much talk and buzz about a library and a community center. Our city buildings, and they're bursting at the seams. So we have lots of areas, and I think I have a lot of confidence. I think we put together a great bond committee that's going to move us forward. So I'm really looking forward to that, and that's exciting for Forney.
You will see me. I'll be visible. I'll be visible to the city of Forney. Again, I keep saying it. I don't have an occupation other than helping the constituents of Forney. That's what I'm here for. That's why the city of Forney can use me, can love me the way I love you. I will be here for you. I don't know any other way to say it. And what you can expect from me is time, honor, service, integrity. That's what you're gonna get from me. Healing. I don't know how else to say it, but presence is what's really important right now. You need to see me, and I'll be there.
They can expect me to listen and to work towards solving some of our more prominent and urgent needs.
The voters can approach me. I represent them. The structure is citizens, city council, and city. The representation of the citizens is our job. You have to listen to them. You have to be able to talk to them openly and honestly. I will be that person. I am a leader that can't do her job without knowing all the facts. Running on this campaign now, I've been meeting with people, I've been meeting with former employees, directors, fire and police, and trying to figure out the facts and where we are. It takes listening. Most of this is listening. People can expect me to follow through. If I say I'm going to do something that I can hold personal accountability for, I will do it. People can also expect that I will have a professional attitude. There will be a proper decorum during city council meetings. Things will be led efficiently. We're not going to have this floundering around during city council meetings. There is always an opportunity for discussion, but there's a professionalism that I think is lacking right now. And online, people are watching us. People are watching the city of Forney. So it's important to have the type of environment that people want to do business with Forney, and that's what you can expect from me.
What are your biggest concerns for Forney's future? What solutions do you offer?
My biggest concerns for Forney's future right now are police and fire, the safety of our citizens, and along with that, our warning system. I continue to work on trying to get that resolved. Our citizens need to feel safe and secure. And as it stands right now with everything going on with the police chief, our police department, and our fire department, I think that people are scared. I want to reassure them that we are in this together, we're going to work on this, and we're going to fix this situation.
My biggest concerns for Forney's future are that there's a big divide. I see that. It's clear. What I offer is a new set of eyes, a new set of ears, a new opportunity, a new way of thinking. Listen, I know that some things are better said and left along the way they are, but some things just aren't. We gotta get together and we gotta move forward. So what I'm saying to you is, some of the solutions I can offer you is, let's have some town hall meetings. I wanna hear what you have to say. I wanna hear what the constituents of Forney, I want to be a voice for one city. In other words, a city of one voice. I want to speak on one accord. Togetherness. Let's stand as a united front. No more division. It's not necessary. It's been going on for way too long. That's my solution.
I believe I mentioned this before. My biggest concern is that some of the businesses that we are bringing in are bringing in businesses where the money will leave Forney. It will not stay here and help build our economics. And so I would like to see more small businesses and more local businesses and encourage better growth that way.
The biggest concern right now is the lack of transparency, in my opinion, from city management and the council. I do not think that the citizens are kept in the know. That being said, things can be done without their knowledge or be notified after an event or a decision has been made. I'm concerned about future development in Forney. I think that the city should be dictating the developers instead of the other way around. A big concern is the broken relationships. Previously I mentioned fire and police, but what I have failed to mention is the school district. People come to Forney or any home for two things. They come for safety and they come for schools. And the one thing we can do on the safety side of things is put the funding and the culture in place. And for the schools, we can rebuild the relationships that we have lost. We have broken relationships with the school district, other elected officials, TxDOT. There's a lot of things that haven't been progressing as fast as they could because we haven't had the right elected officials meeting face to face with the people that can really make a difference and the people that have the purse strings. We need to be able to talk to the right people and represent everybody instead of just leaving it up to one or two people. We represent all of Forney citizens, and therefore I think that's one of the biggest concerns at this point, that they're not being represented properly.
What other issues define your campaign?
The issues that define my campaign is I'm going to keep doing what I've always done. I've walked and knocked on doors, I've talked to people, I'm friendly, I take my notepad with me, I take notes, and I'm genuinely concerned with what the citizens want. I'm here for you, I serve you, and we're all in this together. and thank you for your time.
I'm thinking things like bullying within schools, hostile work environments, economic status, meaning to stimulate the economy. There are several businesses that are coming to our city. There shouldn't be not one person in Forney that's unemployed. When a new business comes, you gotta cut a deal with us. How about you hire our people first? Point blank, period. That's the deal. Can a mayor do that? Sure we can. That's the deal. You come here, you wanna start a new business, Forney constituents get first dibs. How about this bullying thing that's going on? We need education. We need more education on mental health. Period. There are lots of things going on in Forney that I know I don't know about. Again, I plan to assert myself all day, every day, because I have time.
Infrastructure in general in Forney has not matched growth. We have lots of new housing developments and being planned without the infrastructure in place to deal with the people coming and going.
I've already touched on first responders, I've touched on the school district, and even roads. One thing that needs to be touched on is the amenities in the city of Forney. We have a really good start for a community park. I love it. My son goes there. I've been there multiple times when he was young. I think we can grow that. Unfortunately, I think we also need to be able to maintain those fields and the recreational amenities, which takes a concerted effort with the city. That includes the Parks Board. I think the Parks Board does not have representation now on some of the future decisions of how we utilize those facilities and charge youth associations for the use of those fields. There's also a need on the north side. We have 55 acres on the north side that's been allotted for development. We don't have the funding for it at this point. There are certain things that we need to consider in the city's general fund budget. We need to look at what type of ongoing operations it will cost to run another park. I do think that we need to continue drawing in families through the schools and the safety, but also we need to have the amenities in place for recreational use. It's going to take a lot of work with a lot of different people, but I think if we get a strategic plan in place, I think if we go ahead and revisit the comprehensive plan, relook at the thoroughfare plan that was adopted in 2019 to make sure that we have an appropriate vision and something on paper that we can adhere to.
Hi, I'm Jason Roberson, and I'm running for Forney City Council, Place 6. I've been married for 19 years to the lovely Takesha Roberson. She is my better half. I definitely married up. Thank God every day for blessing me with such an amazing wife. We have 2 children, James, who is 13, Audrey, who is 11. They're both in Forney ISD schools, both extremely smart. They're both very charismatic, very witty. They keep us on our toes. We're no longer cool to our kids. They actually roll their eyes at us and we embarrass them quite often, so that's kind of fun. I have this app on my phone where I get a chance to cut off the Wi-Fi at a moment's notice, so it's so cool to watch them react whenever I do that. Professionally, I have a background in journalism, marketing, and communications. I've written for newspapers and magazines across the country. I've ghostwritten a few books for business executives and politicians, and I have an MBA from TCU. With that MBA, I've been able to start a marketing firm, and we cater to small businesses. We help them tell their stories. My passion is for giving back. I'm a preacher's kid from Houston, Texas. I watched my dad tirelessly help out others, and I was just naturally wanting to do what Dad did, so I started at a young age, and it's morphed into my own volunteering activities even now. I see this city council spot as an evolution of my servant leadership, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Hi, my name is Salgado, and I'm running for Forney City Council Place 4. I am a proud native Texan. I'm from a small town in East Texas that's the middle of nowhere. Think Scurry, only a little bit smaller. So Forney to me seems like a very large place. I'm a 5th generation teacher. I come from a long line of educators and school administrators. My professional background is in education. I received my Bachelor of Science in Special Education with an emphasis in severe disabilities. I taught in 2 states before coming to Texas and starting our family. My husband Richard and I have been married for 16 years. Richard is a native Californian, and I've forgiven him for that at this point. We are the parents of 4 children who are also all native Texans. In this coming fall, our children will attend 4 different campuses here in Forney ISD. Morning drop-off is going to be bananas, so please keep me in your prayers. Richard and I have lived in Forney for almost 13 years. We love Forney. We love the people, we love our church family, we love our neighbors. I decided to run for Forney City Council because I can see Forney's huge potential. I want to be part of the solution for managing our explosive growth. We do have some concerns that we need to address as a city. I want to be part of the solution to manage those concerns.
Hello Forney, my name is Craig Chapman and I am running for City Council in place 4. A little bit about myself. My parents moved my sister and I out here to Kaufman County in 1997, and I grew up in Maybank. When I graduated college, I brought my college sweetheart, my wife Candace, back to the area with me, where she serves as a hospital pharmacist in Dallas. As for me, I'm a community pharmacist working in a family business my family has owned since the 70s. I'm also a small business owner. I own a long-term care company that deals with hospice and nursing homes. My very first job at a pharmacy school was right here in Forney. I was the intern that got to open up the pharmacy at Kroger. During my time there, I got to meet so many amazing people. The people here, they were kind, they were caring, they were funny, and they were passionate. And that was about 6 or 7 years ago. The city has changed a lot since then, but the people here are still great. It's why I call Forney home. And like many of you, I know there's been a lot of controversy in the news about our city manager, the chief of police. It's disturbed me deeply. Our city is in desperate need of leadership. City Hall needs someone who can solve problems, someone who's ready to responsibly manage our growth, fiscal responsibility, as well as supporting our police and fire. I'd be honored to have your support as well as your vote in our Forney City Council for place 4.
What qualities or expertise will you bring to the council that will be helpful to Forney?
I have a background in marketing and communications. I've been a journalist, and as a journalist, your job is to take complicated information and simplify it so everybody can understand it. I've been a business journalist, writing about complicated tax policies, different business organizations and so forth, and my goal is to make sure that I can bring in as many readers as possible. Well, how is that helpful? It's helpful because everybody in Forney needs to be informed about the issues that we're facing. It's time that we straighten out the org chart. You, the citizens, deserve to be at the very top. You deserve to be able to have the information. We can't make decisions in a silo anymore. We can no longer make decisions in an echo chamber. The city council is not in charge. The city manager is not in charge. It's you, the people. And I believe that with my skill set on the council, I'll be able to explain information in a way that brings everybody in so that we can all take part in our democracy.
As a classroom teacher, I did more than just teach. I managed a team of assistant teachers. I also taught special needs students who, by the very name, each have special needs. They all had their individualized education program. This required a lot of coordination. I had to coordinate efforts between a team of paraprofessionals, a team of specialists. I had to work with parents, with administrators, with outside experts. I needed to have the ability to analyze data and develop solutions that were individual to each child. As a small business owner, I've learned how to manage my own budget. As a member of the Forney City Council, I will be able to bring all those qualities to our leadership here in Forney.
I've been a pharmacist since 2014. One of the most important qualities of a pharmacist is being able to solve problems. I get calls, text messages from physicians all over DFW looking for help, whether it be an elderly patient who can't swallow her meds, a young patient who spits out their meds. These are real issues I deal with on a daily basis, and it's something I can bring to the citizens of Forney. We are tired, when I say we, I mean the citizens of Forney are tired of this bickering, this nonstop gridlock that we see in city government. You see it in Washington all the time, we see it in Austin. That kind of attitude shouldn't be here in Forney. We should be able to work together as one for the betterment of our community and our citizens.
How do you define transparency, and how important is it to you? What level of transparency should citizens and stakeholders expect from the city and council?
It's interesting. Transparency to me is more than having access to publicly available documents. It's being able to understand those documents. It's one thing to just present the documents and information and say, here you are, you have access to it. It's another thing to be able to take the time and to explain it to where everybody feels like they're involved in the conversation. And that's what I believe transparency is for me. I think that every citizen deserves to be involved in a conversation. Information that's talked about in closed executive sessions, obviously by law, we can't talk about those things. But outside of it, I believe that we can directionally share everything that's been discussed. That's our role as a city council, to make sure that the real bosses, you the people, are in charge.
Transparency to me simply means having integrity. Integrity is choosing what's correct and what is right for our citizens, even if it means standing alone. I will bring a level of transparency to our citizens by simply being able to listen, and also by being involved in how our city hall is managed. How are our city employees treated? Are the needs of our citizens actually being looked after? Transparency means having no outside influences influencing my vote or how I manage my time on the city council.
Transparency to me sounds like a country phrase, but it means speaking straight from the horse's mouth, telling the raw, unfiltered truth to the people who need to hear it. Forney politicians shouldn't be viewed as mythological creatures that you can't talk to. You can only run in their circles if you want their influence. If you want to just get their ear, you have to go through hoops. It shouldn't work like that. Transparency means real honesty. You know, as a pharmacist, when my patients come to me with their Medicare plans every fall, I'm the one that has to look them in the eye and tell them, sorry, Ms. Jones, your plans are going up by even just $1. And these are patients that live on fixed incomes. So when their income goes up, when their expenses go up by $1, they know it. And trust me, they'll tell me. And that kind of transparency is what I'll bring to the Forney City Council, is this raw, unfiltered truth.
Are there any developers, companies, or organizations, or the representatives with interest in Forney that have contributed to your campaign financially, in kind or otherwise, or that have reached out to you for information and or offered their support? Please explain.
In short, no. Now, a more full answer is that right now, less than 5% of voters actually vote. Less than 5%. When that happens, that gives way for former elected officials who can kind of lurk in the shadows and pull the puppet strings to get things done. That allows them to have power. The way that you stop that influence is to make sure that we all get out and vote. We have to stay on fire about the issues. We all have to take part in our democracy.
I'm actually not a politician at all. I'm a concerned citizen who can see huge potential in Forney. However, I also see some concerns that need to be immediately addressed. My campaign is completely self-funded. That is a choice that I made for several reasons. I have watched over recent years as city council campaigns here in Forney have been funded and influenced by outside special interest groups. I have chosen to accept no donations to date from outside influencers. When I vote as a member of the city council, my vote will not be one that can be bought. My vote will not be one that can be manipulated or influenced. When outside representatives who have a financial stake in Forney are able to influence our city council members, that is not what is in the best interest of our citizens. If elected to the Forney City Council, you can be assured that when I vote, it will be because it is what is best for our city employees, our first responders, and our citizens.
My top 3 donors to this campaign are me, myself, and I. I am totally self-funded throughout this campaign, and I don't anticipate that changing. And it's important that this gets brought up because unlike my opponent, I am the only independent voice in this race. I'm not a member of a team, and I don't have any running mates. And unlike this team that has expressed an interest in being held accountable by each other or other members of the council, I only want to be held accountable by you, the people of Forney.
Choose a recent instance of a council action you either agreed or disagreed with. What would you have done differently or the same?
The city has approved a plan for our roads, but they have failed to act upon it. I believe that our roads, with all the growth that we have coming in, we have to fix our roads, especially our older roads right around the downtown area. For far too long, we've written it off saying that this is just a TxDOT issue, but it's still Forney's problem. So we have to fix our roads. One thing that I recommend that we do is I recommend that we form a coalition with many of our neighboring cities that all access Highway 80. I believe that together we can have a stronger voice and we can approach TxDOT and we can get the answers that we need so that we can prepare Forney for the future.
A recent council action that has turned our city upside down is the situation regarding our chief of police and our city council. The feeling in our city is actually quite volatile. It's been a circus and it's honestly been embarrassing. The citizens of Forney deserve to have a city council and a city manager that properly oversee and govern our funds, our city employees, and the needs of our citizens. Our town needs a city manager that leads our city without ego, without arrogance, and without retaliation. All of these things have been happening at City Hall, and this needs to change. I have spent time in recent months meeting with current and former city employees. These are not disgruntled employees. These are people who are educated, who have positive views of our city, but who have ultimately decided to leave our city due to the work environment at City Hall. This toxic work environment is bleeding down to our citizens. Our citizens have lost trust in our city manager and our city council. I have disagreed with the recent action of our city council to keep Mr. Carson as our city manager. If I was on the city council, I would have voted differently than our 4 members that voted to keep him.
Being a frontline healthcare worker on this pandemic, I strongly disagreed with the council's direction on the 4th of July event, holding it. My concern was for the safety of the city and Forney employees. At the time, the virus was still spreading. We needed a mask mandate. My fear was just the safety of the citizens, and it's crazy, this pandemic. I've seen it firsthand. I've lost patients. These are patients who are grandparents, their parents. One of my best friends in college lost his dad. So it really hits home. That's a decision I thought they should have reversed. If I was in that position, we probably either would have canceled the event or at least make it mandatory for a city of Forney employees to wear masks, because their safety should be top priority.
How does Forney best plan for the future? What specifically would you do to help?
Right now, we have a lot of silos that are impeding our growth, that are impeding our ability to move forward as a city. I hope that we can break down those silos and at least start meeting. Right now, the school district, that's one of our greatest assets here in Forney. We are growing so fast, and our school district is one of the top 5 fastest growing school districts in the state. We need to be having regular meetings. But right now, the Forney City Council and the Forney School Board, they do not meet regularly, and they haven't met regularly in at least 5 years. This doesn't make sense. We have to break down those silos, and we have to work with our school district so that we can figure out what do they need to be able to continue to do the great job that they're doing. We also need to take a good look at our roads. Our roads need to be prepared for the future. We need to take a good look at our budget. Right now, our city budget, we are bringing in about $23 million in revenue annually, but our budget is 19 to 20 million. So we're getting closer and closer and closer to the edge. That's not going to be sustainable long term. We have to be able to have a budget that not only takes care of our core needs right now, but also is forward thinking enough to plan for the future. Thank you.
Our city is growing at a rapid pace. To manage and control that rapid pace, we need to have firm plans set in place. The comprehensive plan for our roads was last updated in 2016. I would encourage every voting citizen to look at the thoroughfare plan and the comprehensive plan to see what our city has accomplished. I believe that both of these plans need a thorough update so that we can meet the needs for our infrastructure, particularly our roads. Our city also needs to quickly develop a housing plan. Our city currently has no plan for how many rooftops our city will allow within our city limits at varying price points. Because of this, we are allowing developers to come in and tell our city how we will be developing our city, instead of the other way around. If our council had a set plan for what our housing development in the future of Forney will look like, we could tell developers if their plan fit in with our vision. This needs to be addressed. We also need to work more closely with our first responders and our schools. To develop a future plan for Forney, we need to have a school system that is not overburdened by poor housing development decisions. We also need to thoroughly investigate the funds that are being given to our first responder groups. Are they being supported financially? Are they being supported by the actions of our city council? When we first moved to Forney, we looked at two things. We looked at the school ratings and we looked at the crime statistics. This is what other people look at too, so we need to protect especially our relationship with our school district and our first responder groups.
I think the best thing Forney can do is realize that we are not only living in the best county in Texas, it's the fastest growing. People want to come here. People are fleeing the big cities for places like ours. This is where a lot of people want to call home. It's not just young families, but young couples who want to start families, young professionals, older families. I mean, this is the best place to be right now in the state of Texas. The best thing we can do as a city is embrace that. People love Forney. I think one plan we have to do is with our infrastructure. We have to make sure that our sidewalks are complete. That goes along with the 2016 park plan that if I'm elected to the city council, we'll continue moving towards. We have to make sure that our relationship with TxDOT is still solid, which it is today. We need to make sure that our schools are properly funded, so when new developments come in or new projects come in, that they benefit the citizens of Forney in the future. Not just the people who live here now, but the people who are going to call Forney home decades from now.
This concludes our Spring 2021 Video Candidates Forum for the City of Forney, Texas. We'd like to thank all of the candidates for mayor and city council who agreed to participate. We're pleased to offer a new way to document the candidates' views on issues important to you. But now it's your turn. Remember, Election Day is May 1st. As Americans, you're guaranteed the right to vote. It's up to you to exercise it.